So my name is Aatish Kapadia, and I'm a television producer, film producer, writer, director. Thank you. I was 7 years old when, my father's friend, those holier than thou uncles you have at family functions. So he came to me and he said, "So, bada hoke kya banega? What do you want to become when you grow up?" I looked up at him and said, "Writer." He started laughing. I really, even today, I haven't understood as to what was the reason I want to become a writer. I didn't say I want to become a cabaret dancer. So, he would have laughed. I said, I want to become a writer. Well, anyway, he did laugh, and today I'm having the last laugh. What happened was, I had no clue how I'm going to become a writer. Because I came from a business family, and I was wondering as to how I'm going to fulfill my dream. And my family life, at that point of time, my joint family life was quite miserable. We had lost all our money and it had become very bitter. So there was light, but the light was not a guiding light. It was a burning, blazing, fierce light, which would burn me, which would give me pain. And the only way to survive that was to move away from it, literally. So I used to get out of my house and sit on a tree, and there was a college opposite me, and I used to watch people come and go by, and I created a wonderland. And it was the tree that became my shadow. And because I was away from the light, it became a little tolerable. Now again, I had no clue. I used to create this wonderland of all these characters, all these people, all these interesting stories. And that one gift which I had was the gift of mimicking, which also landed me in a lot of trouble. For example, unconsciously, I would just keep observing people, because for me, they were subjects, they were ideas, they were characters. But also, subconsciously, I would start mimicking them on my face. So one day, this is actually what happened. I was walking and there was a buck-toothed lady. She literally had very big teeth. So she was like, and she was walking. Now I was just observing her. Unknowingly, I did this. While she was crossing, I did this. And what happened was her husband came to know. And I had no idea that I was actually emulating her on my face. So he came and said, "Kya re? What's your problem?" I said, "What? What did I do?" He said, "You are mimicking my wife." I literally ran because I didn't know what to do. So I said, "Sir," and then I ran away. So that was how I started observing people. But yet I had no idea, how am I going to become a writer? Till one day, because nobody told me about NSD, nobody told me about FTII. One day I came to know, I was in grade 8 or 9, when I came to know that, and by the way, somebody said, somebody earlier said that, "Oh, what a lovely school." Yes, it's a dream school for me, because I went to a school where there were no toilets, forget an auditorium. Seriously, and I'm not kidding, we had to go outside. And we managed our way. So anyway, coming back to the topic, I knew that Narsi Monchi College of Commerce and Economics is a place where there's a lot of theatre activity. So I said, okay, I'll join. So my aunt said, "But what do you want to do? Commerce, science, arts?" I said, "Even if it's home science, I'll do it. I want to go to Narsi Monchi College because there's theatre activity." I joined Narsi Monchi College. I get admission over there and I'm wondering as to what to do. And by luck, I got into a play. Now, the gentleman who used to make those plays were the plays for college day, etc. His name is Jamnadas Majetia. Today is my business partner and my best friend. So he was auditioning. And there was a notice board जिस पे लिखा था, "Whoever is interested in doing the college day play, contact Mr. Jamnadas Majetia in room number 31 on the 3rd floor." So I thought Mr. Jamnadas Majetia must be some old professor. And young fellow walks in and he's auditioning me, and then, Now what happened was, I started doing a couple of plays with him on a college day. But one day I told him, I said, "Yeah, your script is it can be a little better. Do you want me to write it? Rewrite it?" He said, "Yeah, please go ahead." I rewrote it, bingo. He said, "Abhi, you only will write." So what happened was, an accident actually gave me the opportunity to write. And today also he curses himself. Why did I give it to you? I became lazy and I stopped writing. So I became the central writer. Now when I went into intercollegiate theatre, we were doing this play. It was a terrible play. Let me tell you, it was a torture. I mean, to speak those lines. But well, I was 17 years old, and who could tell the director? I was sitting during the break and saying, "Yeah, what lines am I speaking? I'm playing a soldier, and what are these rubbish lines I'm talking?" And somebody kicked me from behind, third, and I looked back, it was the director. And he came in front of me and he said, "You think you know how to write?" So I said, "Sir, I can't do anything. I have already said what I had to about this horrible script. It is horrible, and I think I can write better." I just said it confidently. So he said, okay, I want you to write the same scene and get it tomorrow. So next day I got the scene. He actually read it. He didn't say a word. So like, I don't know whether he's liked it or not. After a few days, he said, I want you to write a one-act play. So a play without an interval, about 30 minutes. I said, all right, I'll write it. I wrote it. We performed. He saw the play, and then he took me out for dinner. And he had a drink. I didn't. I was a minor. And in our days, minors were really not allowed to drink, seriously. I don't know about y'all today. Nowadays, the minors say 16 is not minor anymore. Anyway, we were minor till 20, 21, I think. So we went to the restaurant, and he looked at me and he said, okay, I know you want to become an actor. Don't pursue that dream, Aatish. Become a writer. You have a gift. I said, what? What gift? He's saying, do you know what you've written? I said, no, I just wrote it. He's saying, that's the gift. You don't even know what you've written. You've just written. So continue that. So as I continued, there was a time, now again, there's it's such a small world. All the people connected to my journey are over here. A lot of them are here. So I was you see, anger is a tool I use to write. Now, anger doesn't mean rage. It doesn't mean, road rage or any other kind of a rage. It's not, not that kind of an anger. Anger as in a burning anger to do something different. So whenever I used to I had written a lot of television, and I used to go to television channels and say that, I want to do this. They would say, nee. You have to make a show where all the elders are to be respected. You have to make a show where the family is living in peace. I said, what nonsense. Nobody lives like that. I have lived in a horrible family. And for whatever reason, they had their problems. But all this holier than thou nonsense is not what is the only thing that's going to work. So as a rebellion, I wrote and created a show with my business partner JD called Khichdi. It was about not respecting your elders. I'm not advocating that. And don't go home and start shouting at your parents. I'm saying there can be an alternate world. There can be a world where parents are not really respected for whatever reason. So we created a show which was anti-television. And Star Plus, Masuma was there. And when it aired, initially people took a little while to get accustomed to the nonsense that we were, tabling. Because it was pure nonsense, but nonsense in a very systematic manner. We had a Hansa who would say, "Main to thak gayi bhai shab," without doing anything. So the idea was, she's tired because she's dressed up. So that was a commentary on all the women who used to dress up on television for no rhyme or reason. I mean, imagine getting up in the morning with all the hair properly done up, diamonds and, lipstick and all that, and say, "Chai pi aapne?" Arey, what chai pi? When did you get the time to dress up like that? So Hansa was actually a sarcasm on those kind of women. Ki itna taiyar hua, itna mehnat ki hai, ki main to thak gayi bhai shab. After that, we made a show called Sarabhai versus Sarabhai, which was the exact opposite. So if Khichdi was a certain kind of a show, Sarabhai was the exact opposite, where we had, now that was based on an aunt of mine. She would literally say this, she would say, "Oh, my nephew is doing very well. Really, he's doing very well for himself, but he lives in Goregaon." So it's not even condescending. She really empathized with me, because they used to live in Malabar Hill and town. And he lives in Goregaon as if I'm living in some slums, but that's okay. That's okay. That's how, what I got from her is, okay, what if I create a character like this and actually present the Ladida South Bombay women. And mind you, there's a perception that South Mumbai women, they do not know how to cook, how to keep a house. That's absolute rubbish. They're very good. They do have their help, of course, but they're very, very good. And it's not necessary that a middle-class woman has to be the perfect Sati Savitri who knows how to keep a home. No, all these are stereotypes. So stereotype breaking became kind of a norm for me, and slowly things started falling in place. But, and here's the big but for all the students out here is, I wanted to be a writer. I knew I wanted to be a writer, but sometimes we have to be told. So you have to estimate yourself. I had no estimate about myself until my director, the late Mahendra Joshi, told me that you have a gift. Hone it. He helped me hone it. He helped me make my skill a little better, and that's how I became confident. But I did not give up my education. I completed my MBA in marketing, which I use very effectively in my writing because I know all the skills. I mean, today if you tell me Maslow's theory, yes, I can blurt it out. If you tell me, something like econometrics, my God, what a subject. I don't know whoever's invented it, I want to meet that person. Who invented econometrics? But I have endured even that. The long and short of it is, complete your education. Creativity within you can be estimated by yourself, by somebody who's an expert, and then can be honed and made into a career. Thankfully, I was lucky after my management when I quit my job and I continued with my writing and my directing. I could make a little place for myself in this big bad world. And I would like to conclude it by saying that, you see, the light is not in our control. Sometimes it can be a burning light, a fierce light, a dim light, but the shadow is in your control. If the light is too dim, go closer. Try and alter the light. If you can't, try and alter the shadow. If the light is burning and fierce like the way it was in my case, I moved away. Because creating the shadow is in our hands. And that depends on how you position yourself in this world. Closer to the light, away from the light. And that shadow actually is what you make out of yourself with the help of that light. Thank you very much.